साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Sarva Dharma Service Center. We have a nice program coming up for us, but before that, I thought I will briefly introduce myself and Sarva Dharma Service Center. You need all this. So the first thing I would like to do is to briefly tell you who we are. We are a spiritually oriented service organization with multi-faith belief as the basis. This was taught to us by our guru, and whom we call Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. And we've been operating in this state as Sarva Dharma Service Center for the previous almost 30 years now, about 7 years from this building. Our main activities basically are those of service and multi-faith in multi-faith in origin, in ways that we try to work. So our service basically consists of education and training. We have classes for people or children who don't afford. We teach them English, math, and science. And there are a large number of people who've gotten helped because of that. And they have gone to become graduates in high school and some from colleges as well. In our health and wellness part of it, we have free service for health and maintenance of health for all the people that approach us. And we have it both in our alternative medicine as well, in addition to the regular allopathic medicine. In the community outreach, we do quite a bit of service in that respect. We provide sandwich services. We probably crossed about 15 to 20,000 sandwiches that we have made in the last few years. And we also have recently, since COVID, we also started a grocery supply program wherein we supply groceries to people who have lost their jobs as a result of COVID, or they are homebound. And we do that every week. They have a selection of groceries that they can request or order, and we supply them those requested ones. Some of them we actually deliver them at their home because they're home-based and they cannot be out to come and pick it up from here. There are multi-faith activities. We have activities such as this, getting together of many faiths and discussing how we can all get together, get on well, and that's the focus as well of ours. Now, of all these services, what is most important for us is not only that the recipient gets some physical and psychological and spiritual help, but the help that we get in turn is immeasurable. We develop good relationship, friendly relationship with people that we serve. So we would not like to say that we serve because we serve them, because we actually are serving ourselves in the process, and thus we are improving ourselves both in our outlook and as well as spiritually. And that leads to a lot of good feelings amongst the entire community, and that is the purpose of all doing that. And so that is those are our activities. Now you can go to the website, which is saiservice.org, and you'll have all the details on that. I'm also a member of MACRET, which is the Monmouth Center for World Religions and Ethical Thought. I've been, I think, a member of the board for the past 5 or so years. And since recently, I'm one of the 2 co-presidents of MECRET. And my other co is in the back, Stevie Lishin has been a great support for the whole organization. So again, MECRET has a website that you can go to, just Monmouth Interfaith Center of Monmouth County, Monmouth Center, Interfaith Monmouth Center, sorry, interfaithmonmouthcenter.org. And you can find all the information there. It's very rich in multi-faith and individual spiritually oriented topics. And I would welcome you to please go to both websites. I think with that, I would invite Calvin Shatlos, Dr. Calvin Shatlos, who is representing the MECRET here today at the podium. Calvin.
Thank you, Rao. And I would like to thank all of you at Sarva Dharma for your generosity in this opportunity today. This is a wonderful facility, and it's great to see the peace pole standing out there. I think that thing with the sheet on is the peace pole, I'm assuming. Let me see how I can do this here. As Rao noted, I'm Calvin Chatlis. I'm a board member also of MECRET, the Monmouth Center for World Religions and Ethical Thought. And I just wanted to read the words from our mission so that you at least see, because these 2 organizations, this whole project was an attempt to try and bring 2 large multi-faith organizations together and see if we can develop something. To honor and enrich individual religious, spiritual, and ethical practices, encourage interfaith listening and understanding, raise a common voice against injustice and intolerance, provide a center for the study of world religions and ethical thought, and serve as a unique interfaith and intercultural meeting place. So, for those of you that don't know me, my background is the son of a Protestant Christian minister in a small town where the first American-born Catholic saint did her work, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton and the Sisters of Charity. I grew away from that tradition, moved eventually to a small religion called Ethical Culture, which was founded by an ex-rabbi in New York City, and now am a member of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Monmouth County, which is, as Rao mentioned, the founding organization of MECRET. The minister, Reverend Craig Rubano, will speak when I'm done with this, and his life is a wonderful example of being raised with multi-faith traditions. Today, we celebrate the UN International Day of Peace, which is officially this coming Wednesday, September 21st, every year connecting peace with our world's journey in the fall solstice. There are celebrations going on internationally for this International Peace Weekend, International Day of Peace. If you go online, it's just a wonderful celebration all over the world. We thank you for joining us today for this completion of what was a 6-month project, a journey to explore peace. A little background, May Peace Prevail on Earth International was founded over 50 years ago in Japan. There are now, to spread the message, may peace prevail on earth, and there now are over 200,000 peace poles around the world. Our peace pole is in 7 languages. We have the phrase, may peace prevail on earth in English, Hindi, Spanish, Hebrew, Arabic, Ukrainian, and Russian, to remind us that all people, all languages seek peace, though sometimes in today's world, we're not always sure how to understand this. Later in this service, I'm going to be sharing some of the lessons of this 6-month journey of our group. But I want to say, I'm going to take a little bit of time out. I want to say something. Part of our journey was a book discussion that you may not be familiar with. It's The Mystic Heart by Wayne Teasdale. I have a quote. "We have been given the gift of life in this perplexing world to become who we ultimately are, creatures of boundless love, caring, compassion, and wisdom. Existence is a summons to the eternal journey of the sage we all are, if only we could see." Wayne Teasdale was a Christian monk from 1945 to 2004, who took sannyasa, which formally means to renounce the world, and lived as an Indian monk for many years. And he, for years, served as a bridge between Western and Eastern traditions in America. He introduced a new term in 1999 called interspirituality. And I also would show a book, The Coming Interspiritual Age, which is part of an organization internationally, founded sort of out of New York, that you may be interested in. And his idea, Wayne Teasdale's, was that mystical experience, having a personal connection with the divine, is the core of all religious traditions. Whether it was Muhammad and Islam, Jesus and Christianity, Moses and Judaism, Baha'u'llah with Baha'i, Buddha with Buddhism in its many forms, and moksha with the mystics of Hinduism, embraced by multiple Eastern traditions, all having a mystical core of the personal relationship to this mysterious source. And the mystical experience, as we tried to look at in this book discussion, have we connected with this source? Teasdale claims that it is this connection that will transform this next century. The overwhelming feelings of joy, happiness, connection with the world and with our higher self, peaceful, ineffable, revelatory wisdom with love as the core. Paths are many, the goal is the same, as Teasdale says. He talks about 9 elements of interspirituality that I'm going to just say to set the stage for our musical interlude that's going to be coming after this in a sort of meditative sense. He talks about interspirituality as including moral capacity, solidarity with all living things, deep nonviolence, humility, spiritual practice, which we talked a lot about, mature self-knowledge, simplicity of life, compassionate action in selfless service, and a prophetic voice. So if you're interested in more of that, I would recommend The Mystic Heart as a wonderful sense, a reading, as our hearts are whelmed by all of your presence here today. So I want to take the time now to introduce Reverend Craig Rubano, the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Monmouth County. Thank you all, and have a wonderful time today.
Good afternoon. I am the Reverend Dr. Craig Rubano, and it's my pleasure to bring you greetings from the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Monmouth County, just to the north of here in Lincroft on West Front Street. In the last 28 years since founding the Monmouth Center for World Religions and Ethical Thought, we've partnered with them and with others to promote and celebrate religious liberty, interfaith dialogue, and ethical practices. And how wonderful it is today to be participating with you here and with McRET and the promotion of peace in a world and a country that are so broken. Dr. Calvin mentioned my childhood or my growing up. I grew up in Buenos Aires in Argentina and attended an international school where 40 people from 40 different countries in the world were present, and that included all of their faith traditions. And somehow, with common languages of Spanish and English, we found a way to coexist in a way that I've been trying to recapture in my life ever since. And so the ministry at Unitarian Universalist congregations is itself multi-faith, where we all gather weekly on Sunday mornings at 10:30 for a service of worship. And we define worship as a shaping concern for all that is of worth. We all come with all of our traditions, and we find ways to coexist, to find spiritual nourishment, and to grow together. And you are always welcome to join us any Sunday morning at 10:30. Tomorrow, Dr. Calvin, Dr. Rao, and Jennifer Lieberman will be joining me in a special service to culminate these 6 months that they have been exploring peace. So we will be having peace as our centerpiece tomorrow morning. But know that you have a home with us, and we hope to continue our neighborly relationship with you, and hope we can come up with projects to do together going forward. Many, many greetings. So glad to be here.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. I am Jennifer Lieberman. I'm also a member of the Monmouth Center for World Religions and Ethical Thought. And I'm only going to stay up here very briefly because I would like to introduce the Rock and Ram Kirtan Band. They are going to play for a little while, and then we will move to the rest of the ceremony. So enjoy, because they are fantastic. Thank you.
I think interfaith worship is truly critical in this age. So I think it's amazing to see a gathering like this that we can be a part of too. So our style of music is a little, we bring in some Eastern tradition, we bring in some original music from Jeff, and we're really looking forward to sharing that with you. So I hope that you will sing along if you know some of the words. Some of the words may be a little familiar to you, because some of them do draw from some of the Eastern traditions. So if you know them, we invite you to sing along. And here comes Jeff.
In the sense of an international faith, my wife, I was born and raised Roman Catholic, and as much as I love Mr. Jesus, I just felt like I wanted to know more about where religions have started work, reading about religion, and different things about the world. Found myself at Hare Krishna Temple. Eventually, I met Hare Krishna Temple. What happened to our drummer?
I have two apologies. One, Ed and Wendy and the drummer Mason are gracious enough to come all the way from Philly to do this. And Mason had a little Mason had a little trouble getting here, and he's now in the restroom. So we're waiting for them to finish setting up. I apologize.
Let's do some chanting inside. Haribol. Hello.
Oh, maybe not.
Haribol. Hello, welcome. I think it's
Testing, testing. You guys hear me?
testing.
All right, so in line with them, I am or was or still am half half Eastern European Jew, half Italian Catholic, who became a Buddhist monk, who now serves Buddha and Krishna. So I love what you had to say. I love what everyone had to say. What we do is, does anyone not know what kirtan is? Kirtan is it's actually a spiritual practice of worship. It involves chanting with music, chanting the holy names. So not only serving and acting out devotion through the chanting, but the vibration of the energy of the chanting as well as the community chanting together. So I think I heard Wendy urging people to sing the mantras with us. And what we do, we don't do a traditional version. We kind of rock and roll it a little, but we do a lot of, we're going to play a few kirtans in Sanskrit. And once you hear the mantra once, you'll get it. So please sing along. Then I write a lot of original music that comes from my spiritual practice. So mixing English lyrics with Western music with Sanskrit chanting. So, you know what?
Let's just rock on. Yeah.
We'll just start with the mantra.
Yeah.
So most of the mantra is 3 words: Hare, Krishna, and Rama. Hare is the energy of the Lord, the feminine energy. Krishna is the all-attractive God, who's if you're going to be God, you might as well be all attractive, or else everybody's got to be attracted to you. And Rama is the pleasure potency, the joy from loving God.
Oh Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Oh Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Oh Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Oh Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Oh Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So that one was a more traditional sounds. You may have recognized that from more of a traditional Indian Hindu tradition. So we're going to go a little Western on this one. So
the sound okay out there?
can you hear us okay?
Nothing's too loud, too soft. Oh, I forgot. I had a second apology, which is I actually thought this event was outside and I'd be playing in like 90-degree weather. So please accept my humble apologies for my non-adherence to any dress code that might be in place.
Didn't you see the sign on the door about shorts, man? Jeez. The people that come, you know?
So when I write a song, it's I believe that transformation and liberation and evolution comes from the difficulties we face, and that difficulties are our teachings and our work. So everything I write is about a part of my spiritual path, whether it's a downtime, a tough time, an up time. But Om Hare Om.
Om Hare Om.
Om Hare Om.
Om Hare Om.
If it was my last day on earth, I'd stop living for everything I've been dying for. If it was my last day to live, I'd stop hanging on to everything I had left to give. Every heartbeat brings me closer to the last, as every moment slips into the past. And if I had one more day, I'd find a better way.
Better way.
To find a better way.
Better way.
If I had
One more day.
I'd find a better way.
Better way.
To find a better way. To find a better way with one more day. Om Hare Om. Om Hare Om. Om Hare Om. Om Hare Om. If it was my last day to breathe, I would surely say that you take my breath away. If it was my last day to love, well, it'd be you I'd be dreaming of. Every heartbeat brings me closer to the last, as every moment slips into the past. And if I had one more day, I'd find a better way.
Better way.
To find a better way. If I had one more day, I'd find a better way.
Better way.
To find a better way. To find a better way with one more day. We're not hearing the keyboard. Are you guys hearing the keyboard? It's not in the monitor. And are we up above? Oh, okay.
I'm having a little hard time hearing the piano.
Just turn the piano up on the monitor.
Just on the monitor. You can, okay.
Just on the monitor, she
Can't
could
hear
turn up
it
the monitor
At
part.
all. Yep. Much better, thank you. It's like dead out there. I hope I'm.
I didn't understand.
I don't know if anybody knows the story of Prabhupada. Prabhupada was an Indian Swami who came to the States on a steamship in 1965, 65. $7 in his pocket and a case of Bhagavad Gita's. He eventually ended up on the Lower East Side when the Lower East Side was a place he didn't want to go. With the mission to spread peace and love through chanting the Maha Mantra. And so long story short, the hippies liked them and they all started chanting, and
My people.
the rest is history. But this song is about a verse he wrote in a poem. With the last verse he wrote, he said, Krishna, do with me what you will, I'll be a puppet on your string. And kirtan is about dancing. So that's what this song's about. It's actually about Prabhupada. Please chant with us. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You make me dance like the light of a flame. It's not by chance that when I sing your name, you make me dance. You make me dance. You make me dance. You make my soul sing. You make me fly like a bird that spread its wings. You make me dance. You make me dance. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thanks. We're just wasting time between tuning the stuff. No, every moment is precious if you think of it that way.
Go to Love is the Way. The humidity really affects the guitar. Jai Guru Dev, Jai Guru Dev, Jai Guru Dev, Jai Guru Dev. looked up to heaven, and I've looked down to hell. I've looked up for grace, and I've looked down to see how far I fell. And I've seen the darkness, and I've seen the light. I've seen victory and the loss of the fight. I've seen hate, and I've seen love, and I've seen that love is the only way to rise above. Love is the way.
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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Love is the way. Love is the way.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Hare.
I've seen hate, and I've seen love. I've seen that love is the only way to rise above. Love is the way.
Love is the way.
Love is the way.
Love is the way. Love is the way.
Love is the way.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Love is the
Hare.
Love is the way.
Love is the way.
Love is the way.
Love is the way. Love is the way.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Love is the way.
Love is the way.
Love is the way.
Love is the way.
Love is the way. Love is the way.
Love is the way.
Oh, love is the way.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, love is the way.
Krishna Krishna. Hare
Love is the way.
Right now, going with the program, we have a speaker. We have two speakers. The first speaker would be Mr. Upendra Chivukula. He's here with us today, and he's the first Indian American to be elected to the New Jersey State Assembly as an assemblyman, and that was in 2002. And from then on, for 12 years, he had been a representative in the State Assembly, and also the deputy speaker all along. So he has a very great previous professional experience of being a professional engineer. He worked for more than a decade or so in AT&T, and then also before that, Lead and Northrop Corporation. He took very keen interest in the public utilities, and he was also a member of the Public Utilities Commission. And he was founding member and co-chair of the New Jersey Science and Technology Legislative Caucus and the New Jersey World Language and International Studies Caucus of this legislature. I was also a member of the Commission of Science and Technology and on the Health Information Technology Commissions on the state. In addition to all of that, in 2015, Mr. Chivukula co-authored a book entitled The Third Way, which advocates closing the broadening gap between rich and the poor, both in the United States and world over, through inclusive capitalism, what he called inclusive capitalism, or economic democracy via business initiatives like increasing the employees' equity stake, and etc. So he has been a backbone of the society, of our community here, and we're very happy and proud and privileged to have him today. He's going to speak with us, to us about peace in general. Mr. Chivukula.
Thank you very much. Namaskaram to Pranam to Bhagwan and Siddhi Sai Baba. So I was on Monday, I was in Chicago O'Hare Airport. I get a phone call from my dear friend who I look up to, His name is Ariyama Gandikota, who's many of you know him. He called me, Upendra. I agreed to be a speaker on on peace this coming Saturday. Unfortunately, I am under the weather. I won't be able to do it. Can you fill in for me? I said, sure. Any time Ariyama asks me, I will never say no to him. I'm so fond of him, and I respect him so much. And as Mr. Rao talked about, Dr. Rao, he talked about my political career and all that, but the peace is also near and dear to me. And, as an engineer, I contemplate, I think about a lot of things that are going on, and especially today's people talking about climate change and all the challenges. This thought came to me this morning, actually. Where there is equilibrium, there would be peace. For example, if you leave the oil and the coal and then natural gas underground, it's not bothering you at all. Everything is fine. The moment you bring it up and then use it, and you are creating all kinds of challenges, whether it's greenhouse gases and all kinds of problems, you're doing that. And also another thought came to me was when there is conflict in your mind, that conflict acts against peace. So one of the things I found is that as a politician, as an engineer, there's always this conflict and you don't accept. And I have my dear friend KJ Sharma is with me, and he's a scholar of Bhagavad Gita. And looking at Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Krishna, I think Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, and surrender, how you surrender to the Almighty, the Divine, and all the problems will go away. I said, how is that possible? I started practicing that. So I joined a group called Spiritual Tablets Foundation, and I had a problem. I took a fall last November, and I hurt my neck, and then I had vertigo problems and all that. And you do go through chiropractor, physical therapy, and then all kinds of things. You go through that. But my cousin from India called me and I say, you should join the Spiritual Tablets. We do meditation, learn about the scriptures and different things. And I started doing that. And as it is, I'm always averse to taking medication. I don't take any medication. And, after attending to that, I stopped taking any Tylenol or anything like that. So it is, a true belief, true surrender. I think does so much to your peace of mind. So I'm very peaceful because of, I don't think about myself that much. I dedicate myself doing service, service to people. And I have been privileged to be able to do service, at the local and state government level for 25 years. And I thought people used to ask me, don't you have stress? I said, you have stress when you're trying to solve your problems. When you're trying to solve somebody else's problems, you don't have much stress. So that is a very important lesson I learned. And so conflict, again, conflict is something, we deny. We're always in a mode of denial. You have to accept things, and people always ask something wrong, something bad happens. They say, why me? Oh God, why me? And if you reverse the question and say, why not me? And the whole thing, the whole perspective changes. And I was surprised by my daughter the other day. She said, oh, my dad used to be like, I mean, her perception, perception is reality. Now, my daddy changed from Al Capone to Mr. Rogers. I said, I never imagined that somebody could perceive me as Al Capone. But maybe Mr. Rogers I could settle for, bringing smiles and joy to all the children, on public television. So I said, wow, this is a way to go. And, you know, the years of service taught me that, you know, when you do service, to serve human is to serve the divine. And I think Bhagavan has said that many times, you know, different ways. And, you know, I think we have to look at that and look for that bliss, that joy, and that comes, you know, by doing service to humanity. And I mean, when Sarva Dharma Seva Center does all kinds of helping people who have challenges, physical challenges, economic challenges, trying to help them, you know, that brings joy. As Mr. Rao said that he had joy that by doing this thing, you know, we think we are serving. We're not really serving somebody, but we are serving ourselves. I think that was the message. And so today, I urge you to declare peace on our environment and take positive, you know, climate action. So it's all in our hands. We can really do things to better the environment, help towards the climate change, which is a big problem that we all read about it, hear about it, and all that. You know, reduction of greenhouse gases, reduction of waste. You know, America, somebody was telling me that the waste of United States and Canada put together can at least fill 20 countries around the world. So we waste so much thing. Conservation of water. Water has become a very big problem. So we have the population of the world is growing, you know, going beyond 8 billion people, and there's not enough land to grow food. And so also we waste a lot of water. I was in Arizona, I was looking at the water level, you know, it was really dropped. California has problems. We all have problems. We in New Jersey recently had a drought, and I see people watering the lawn. You know, I said, you know, there's drought. We want to make sure the water is preserved. So conservation of water is very important. And there's another thing, soil. I think Sadhguru Jagdeep Vasudev talked about save the soil movement he started. And, you know, there is only 52% of the soil that can be irrigated and create food. So what is happening with all the pesticides, all the things that we are using, we are killing the microorganisms. Without the microorganisms, the soil cannot regenerate itself. It becomes arid soil, and we can't allow that. So we need to make sure that we protect our soil, take good care of our soil, look for alternatives, and that is a very important thing. And also, Sadhguru said that humanity has its intelligence acting against it. A lot of times we think we are very intelligent and we do everything ridiculous that really comes back and hurts us. So we need to think why we are doing all these things. Sometimes maybe it's not wise to do that. I think that is an important message. And this one is very interesting. Sri Ravi Shankar talked about one day he was a gathering of people. People asked me, how do I live peacefully? How do I live happily, looking for joy? He said, have clarity of thought. A lot of times our mind is wandering all over the place. At any given time, 700 things come to our. A lot of it is repetitive. A lot of it are thinking about, I have to brush my teeth, I have to take a shower, I have to shave, all that stuff. But trying to have a clear thinking, that is a very important thing. The second thing is having a purity of heart. Whatever, we need to think about with a clear and pure heart. I think that's very important. And a lot of times we do things because people ask us to do, or we dislike it, but we still do it. But you have to have sincerity when whatever action, sincerity act. So basically, it's a clarity of thought, purity of heart, and sincerity of act. So I think there are very powerful message that we need to follow through on that. And Swami Ji, the Bhagwan, he had one of the articles about why I incarnate. It talks about people come to him Now, he's not looking for money or anything. So people come to him with problems. And so his message of trying to surrendering and having an inward journey and not dwelling so much on the materialistic world. When I go to a lot of the Indian gatherings, they all talk about, what kind of cars they drive and what mansions they live. These are irrelevant. You need to think about your journey should be inward. And I think these are some of the things. A lot of times we are, spending time on a lot of these things are illusion. You think about, so people think about things that are not relevant, but they get worried about it. They're concerned about it. They get into fights about it. And whether it's between marital partners, whether it's parents and children or in-laws. I don't know why in-laws get a bad name, but there's always that conflict that is there. And I always get along with my in-laws and I respect them because they're like, the parents to me. And so we need to accept that, nobody is perfect. And one of the things I tell my wife, I'm not perfect. And I try towards perfection. Only perfect is God. God is the only one who is perfect. And let's make peace. Let's make peace with ourselves, and love ourselves. If you cannot love yourself, I don't think you can love anybody else. And I think these are the important things. There is tremendous conflict going on in the globe, and people are fighting for things that not really relevant. And but we can be ambassadors of peace, and we can bring that whatever knowledge we have to share. A lot of times I know a lot of things, but if you don't share, it doesn't matter. That's only good for you. But you have to share your knowledge, and especially our next generation and beyond, we have to mold them, make them think about a lot of the things. We cannot force them. I cannot tell my grandson, do this, do that. He won't say, he said, I'm good. Anytime you ask him, how are you? I'm good. And I don't know what that means. I'm good. But, we have a responsibility not only to be ourselves, to our next generations. Let's act and do the right thing towards peace, inner peace, and peace in the world. Thank you, Swami. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Chukul Garu. It's a pleasure to have you again. And he has covered a whole lot of subject, as you see. And there's a whole lot of opportunity for us to work towards peace in various directions. Thank you again. The next speaker is Calvin. You have already seen or met Calvin Chadlos. Please come on over and give your delivery.
Thank you for letting me speak again. What I'm going to speak about, I don't want to talk to you about the Peace Pole Project, but I want to carry you along our journey. We've had a journey for 6 months. I look back at when it started, the idea for this 6-month journey, and I think I personally have put in about 2 years of life. I have been carried by the winds of the divine in things that I had no idea that would open up. So what I'm going to read, I'm going to carry you through our conversations as we had dialogue groups and meetings exploring peace. Beginning with what thoughts come to mind with the word peace. The day the power of love overrules the love of power, the world will know peace. Mahatma Gandhi. Definition of peace involved 4 areas: freedom from oppressive personal thoughts or emotions. Harmony in personal relationships. Freedom from civil disturbance in our communities, and mutual concord between governments. Words such as calm, breath, life, non-judgment, acceptance, connection, empathy, harmony, contentment, balance, and I like what the last speaker said about equilibrium. Being in peace is not something I have, but something within me. Compassion and love. Occurring when we remove the I, we remove the ego, and remove the want, and remove the desire, and the materialism to live in the moment. But I don't deserve this. When will the shoe drop? My mind goes to all other thoughts about not peace outside of me. Keys of non-judgment, acceptance, and balance. Health does not always come from medicine. Most of the time, it comes from peace of mind, peace in the heart, peace of soul. It comes from laughter and love. Sadhguru's words. The first piece, which is the most important, is that which comes within the souls of people when they realize their relationship, their oneness with the universe and all its powers. And when they realize that at the center of the universe dwells Wakantanka, the Great Spirit, and that this center is really everywhere. It is within each of us. This is the real peace, and the others are but reflections of this. Black elk. Daily activities are often not related to peace. What is missing? Maybe connection. How do we express peace to show it in the world? Attending to silence and staying connected with the peace within, says the Dalai Lama. What can you do to promote peace? Go home and love your family, says Mother Teresa. Peace in society, we're going way back now. Peace in society depends on peace in the family. Saint Augustine. Love is the key that opens the heart. Hope is the dream that awakens the soul. Peace is the light that guides the way. Faith is the certainty that sees us through. Peace begins with a smile, says Mother Teresa. Family must extend beyond our immediate family. A comment. Our family background very much influences our experiences of peace, but world and society peace very much affects the ability of the family to be peace. Harmony may just be getting along, but without deeper peace, which needs love, compassion, kindness, generosity, and must be active. The problem with society is, took much of our discussions. Spirituality is missing, which requires a focus on others and service. The word Irenology is the study of peace. William Blake, for mercy has a human heart, pity a human face, and love the human form divine, and peace the human dress. Where and how can I expand my love? Open and listen. But it's hard with all that is going on in the world. Why do people do things to hurt others? Sometimes I feel like I want to hurt others too. When I came to the US in 1969, says a member, people were peaceful and helpful and reached out and accepted us. It was wonderful. Violence, violence, violence is not good. Except sometimes as we slip in with the world. Trust, what kind of trust would lead to peace? Trust within us. The theme for this 6 months was let peace begin with me, with an unconditional love as a form of trust. Peace requires faith in shared humanity, a greater good, something transcendent, courage to do what needs to be done, and that it will, a faith that it will be good, we will have more peace. And frequently, we slipped into hopelessness. Hopelessness when we talk about peace and society. And the words of Gandhi repeatedly came up. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And we were reminded to be open-minded, open-hearted, and open-handed to empower the worth and dignity of all people. As we learn to have more faith, more peace in our person, in our family, in our community, and hopefully in our world. And with that, our journey comes to today as we unveil the Peace Pole and welcome all of your presence. It truly has been a journey to think about peace every day for 6 months. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Calvin, for that wonderful recapitulation of all that we've done in the last 6 months. Now we will go out of this building, and right in front of it is the peace pole, which we will unveil. So please come on out, and there are seats there. Some of you who cannot stand up can sit. And if you need more seats, we can provide them too. Thank you.
You guys did a great job. Instruments might be better. Yeah, I'm actually going to go.
Musician, stop playing music.
How are you? Good. Very good.
ఇతను వీళ్ళు వచ్చారు ఇద్దరు
So everybody can please come close. I know there's no shade around here, but we'll try to see if you can hear us from there. I will try my best. So here we are. This is the pole that we're going to be, peace pole that we're going to be unveiling in a while, little while. But before that, we thought we will start with a very solemn way of celebrating it, or starting it, with a few minutes of meditation by a kid. After just a couple of minutes, people coming.
people are coming.
In the meantime, I'll announce you what we're going to be doing here. After the meditation, we have a few speakers, each speaking about a couple of minutes each, about individual peace, peace in the world, peace in society, etc. And then we will have, we'll unveil the peace pole. And after that, with the help of the musical ball that Calvin has, we will all, each individuals will chant out what's written on the pole in 8 different languages. I think we have 6 different languages that can be spoken here, and we will mention that. After that, we'll all say, may peace prevail on our hearts. And then comes the nice program of George Anthony, who's considered kindly to be here, and he'll be speaking about peace. And I think after that, we go inside and enjoy Rock and Ram Kirtan band again. And have
Sorry. Everybody hear me okay?
louder. Sorry about it.
was hoping for the microphone. My voice doesn't fire well. It's okay. I will just pull it up. So my name is Kim. I thought that we would work with a mantra that is appropriate to this occasion, which is Om Shanti. But first, I'm going to invite you to come into a steady, comfortable seat, whatever that looks like. We're standing, but finding a steady, comfortable place for your body. There are chairs if anybody wants to sit as well. I'll invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, or just allow the gaze to lower so that your eyelids and your muscles around your eyes can relax. Perhaps bring a slight smile to your face. Take a moment to connect with the space around us and to notice sound. Temperature of the air, sensation, the warmth of the sun. Earth beneath our feet, supporting our bodies. Gravity holding us all here. Perhaps connecting with your attention for being here today. Bringing awareness to the breath. Noticing any sensation as you inhale and exhale. Silently repeating, breathing in, I am aware of my heart. Breathing out, I smile to my heart. I am aware of my heart. I smile to my heart. Breathing in the sound of Om. Breathing out the sound of Shanti. Om Shanti. I'll be quiet for a couple of minutes. body, releasing the sound of Om Shanti. Breathing in, I am aware of my heart. Breathing out, I smile to my heart. Perhaps bring one hand over the other onto your heart center, taking a bow to this heart. This body, this breath, this life. Deep reverence and gratitude. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace. That feels complete. So very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. And that peace in mind,
We wanted to consecrate the land.
Oh, yes, please.
Before we unveil the peace pole is put in the ground. A reminder of the history of this ground. We are on the lands of the Lenni Lenape, and I want to do a respect to the four directions in honor of some of the wisdom that we lost when the Europeans came to conquer and own this land. We lost the wisdom of caring as stewards for our lands and living in harmony. Turn to the east. We turn to the east where we are granted with the sun and birth of spring, the source of light and opening to a new dawn, a new awareness. The sun and fire that provides energy for all of life's journeys so that we may fly like the eagle as we enter the spiritual world of our higher self. We turn to the south, to the right, as the earth grounds us in the summer of our youth, as we develop the courage and mastery of the wolf, to overcome obstacles as we feel what it is to be human, to grow in skills, to experience the power of creativity, as our spirit embodies faith in ourselves, others, and the world. We turn to the west, where the element of water nourishes all of life to the fall season of our adult life, as we move like the planets in the relationships of our life. Our strength of will and self-worth grow like the power of the buffalo. As our intuition and communication guide us to be open-hearted on the growing path of compassion and love of all nature, love of the person, and love of the spirit, with healing of the world through true justice, as we learn to move with the harmony of Gaia and generously giving in our actions to the world. And finally, we turn to the north, as we are reminded of the winter of life, the spirit of the bear, and our elders, and with gratitude recognize those who have developed the wisdom of life and expressed it with the full dignity of being human. The North Star guides us with reason in balancing our life, being open to our source from the universe, with our dedication to being in harmony with this world, using our full potential as we discover the purpose and mission of our lives, as we discover our place in this vast universe, as truth opens our full dignity with courage, compassion, and wisdom, blossoming into the creative forces of love, truth, and faith. May we do honor to the glory of the universe.
Next, we have two speakers who will be speaking individually on peace in individual level, peace of the society, and peace in the
That was me. I just meant to.
I thought we were going to talk about individual peace. It's okay.
Yeah. So I'll explain. The meditation. Kim is here representing.
Louder.
Sorry.
Come up here.
Oh, come on. So I'll explain. So we wanted to, because we explore individual peace, peace in the world, peace in the community, we also wanted some organizations to be here that kind of represented each of those levels. So Kim is actually from an organization called the Phoenix, which is a recovery organization. Would you like to say a little more, or just you'll speak about it better than I would?
Well, maybe.
So that's sort of covering the individual.
Both, I think, right? So like this community is so beautiful. It's community. It's being together. It's working together toward a common cause that creates that alchemy, that power, right? So I work for the Phoenix. The Phoenix is a national nonprofit organization. We provide free sober events to anyone with a minimum of 48 hours of continuous sobriety. So what that means is anyone who may be in recovery from substance use disorder or supporting someone in recovery or simply choosing a sober lifestyle is welcome to attend any of our events for free. And in that mission of providing free events, ultimately we're building community and we're helping people to heal and move forward on their journey. As we've been speaking about, right, it starts with us, but it's not just for us to do the work, it is for us to support each other in doing that. So I think the Phoenix is an amazing community. We're continuing to grow. I have some literature if you'd like to grab some afterwards, and I'll leave some of my cards if you want. If you have any questions, you can call me. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next one, we'll be speaking about peace in the family and community. That's Sally Alsade, the International Rescue Committee, and One Word, One Loud.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me and everyone, Jennifer and Calvin, my mother, everyone who's part of this peace project for the last 6 months. I was lucky enough to get a glimpse of it, on Zoom calls and hear some really impassioned discussion about peace and how it affects us all as individuals, as family members, community members in the world. I guess in 2016, I responded to a call for assistance for Syrian refugees, and that grew into a grassroots movement that then later became its own nonprofit and established continuous movement of community members to give back to welcome and support refugees and other displaced persons coming to and resettling in our community. And just this past January, I joined the International Rescue Committee, which is one of 9 resettlement agencies that are tasked with receiving and supporting refugees and other displaced persons when they first arrive. My family are immigrants from Egypt. I've been surrounded by stories of conflict and their effects on people's personal and communal and societal and national lives my whole life. And was just attuned to the fact that refugees in particular are those that have the least voice, amongst us all typically in any given group. the least rights and almost seemingly an arbitrary loss of potential, right, to find their own inner peace and to achieve their own personal goals. And so I've been called to work with refugees. I think when I first started doing some sort of connection was in high school. And I mean, it's a good example of how it's all intertwined, right, on a personal level, societal level, communal level, and a global level. You know, these conflicts that we experience, they kind of all bleed into one another. When refugees arrive too, and they start resettling and integrating into their local communities, there can be conflicts between the younger generations and the older generations, between traditional ways of being and of seeing the world and this seemingly new way that at times can be at odds. And so there's a lot that goes on, not just to meet basic human needs like food, shelter, education, employment, but also psychosocial needs as well, emotional needs and support. And there's, I think, an intentional effort to do so in a way that is culturally informed, that is strength-based, that always allows people and amplifies individuals' strengths, no matter what trauma, no matter what loss they may have experienced or may be continuing to experience. And I think that working with people in these populations can be hard. It can be difficult because there is a lot of trauma often. But opening ourselves up in that way allows us to play a positive part, right? And to, on a really impactful and empowered way, to contribute to the solution, hopefully, right? To these global conflicts that are seemingly consuming us these days. We can be part of the solution, both by giving support and aid and mentorship and extending our personal and social networks to help others, plant roots and eventually thrive, and also to advocate on their behalf. So whatever path, we choose, I mean, this is the path that I've chosen or that's chosen me in some ways. I think we all are called in some way to give back and to connect. And I think that helps us find our own peace and contributes to the greater peace within our own individual being, within our families, our communities, and the greater whole. So I hope that's what I was supposed to talk about today. If not, you can come and scold me after. Everything is perfect.
Well said. Up is Sarva Dharma, who is a board member of NECRET, also a professor of astronomy. So he's going to be speaking about word and universal.
Actually, what I'm going to be speaking about is an organization called Deep Time Network. Deep Time Network is an international organization that offers courses on the intersection between science and spirituality. I was introduced to it actually by my very good friend here, Calvin, who suggested that I take a course in that organization a couple of years ago. And ever since then, I have become very enamored, very involved with that organization. And in fact, I have been personally teaching some courses in that organization as well. So let me tell you a little bit about this organization. Deep Time Network is not a religious organization. It's not even a belief system. And it's not a movement for social justice. Deep Time is a community of people that believes that the 14 billion year cosmic story of our origin holds within it all the wisdom and inspiration that we need to bring humanity together into a peaceful, harmonious, and joy-filled Earth community. So what is Earth community? Earth community is not limited to the members of our species. It includes all animal and plant life. It includes the ecosystems that hold and nurture that life. And it includes the entirety of our planet that sustains and evolves these ecosystems. One of the most important lessons to emerge from the cosmic story is that a whole is not just a collection of parts. Parts come together to make up a whole, but the whole in turn gives meaning and identity to the parts. And I'm going to give you some examples from astronomy. A star floating in space is just a ball of hot gas. But when it's embraced by the gyrating arms of a spiral galaxy, it becomes part of a factory in which grains of dust are cooked and concentrated so that the galaxy can assemble them into planets. Now, what's a planet? A planet could be viewed as just a big piece of rock floating in space. But in the company of other planets, moons, asteroids, comets, and at the right distance from its star, it can make living cells. Now, a living cell is a collection of molecules that keeps reproducing itself ad infinitum. But when surrounded by an interactive ecosystem, it initiates an evolutionary chain that results in the development of complex multicellular organisms like us. So we humans may have a superior intellect, but like the stars, like the planets and the living cells, we too are part of a whole. And what's our whole? Our whole is the entire Earth community, which in addition to our natural environment, includes our cultures, our religions, and all of the institutions that have emerged as part of our cultural evolution. So to the extent that we identify with our whole, we create peace. We create harmony and joy around us. To the extent that we ignore, disrespect, or work against our whole, we create suffering, pain, and alienation in our world. So the cosmic story of our origin is not a replacement of our age-old faith traditions. It's not even a single banner under which to unite the world. But what the story provides is a powerful framework within which to understand and cherish the diversity represented by our cultures, and our faith systems. Now, it takes many kinds of stars to create a galaxy that can make planets. It is the interaction between different kinds of planetary bodies that enables one of them to sprout life. And it is the diversity of life in an ecosystem that allows all of them to evolve towards complexity. And so, it is a combination of our varied approaches to building togetherness that will lead us to creating a viable and a sustainable Earth community. So our new origin story inspires us to rededicate ourselves to the best of the narratives, traditions, and rituals that have brought us together in the past. And it puts them in the service of the whole of Earth. Our cosmic story rekindles in us respect and reverence for the sacred flow of cosmic evolution that has brought us here. The story instills in us the responsibility to carry that journey forward. So the cosmic story is really our home. And it is always in our home that we will find lasting peace. Thank you.
Headquarters of Deep Time is in New Jersey.
Yeah,
Out
near
of
Princeton. And also I have some flyers on the organization. In fact, there is going to be a new course starting up next week. If anybody is interested in finding out more, there is a website and all kinds of links here that you can go to. So after the program, you can just come and pick up one of those brochures.
Courses are on Zoom.
Yeah, they're all the courses are on Zoom. It's an international organization, so that's the only way to do it. We often get people from sometimes 15 different countries participating.
Thank you, Sir Mate.
Thank you.
That was a great recap of of peace from within individual through the community, family and community to the universe. That's a beautiful presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. By the way, there will be a table out inside.
Oh, okay. I'll
on
put
which
them
you can-
there. Yeah.
And everybody else too. Do you have any organizations that you want to put?
Sally
papers out?
also has
Please.
stuff as well that she'll put inside. So if anybody wants to know more.
If anybody wants to work with refugees and other displaced persons, I have information.
Thank you. That's great. So I think the time has come. Would you say, Calvin? Yes. Right.
All right.
To unveil the peace movement. And to do that, we have the Vice President of Sarva Dharma Service Center.
Anything more special you can do? Nothing. Make it dramatic. And let's have some music.
Yeah, we probably should have. We'll go ahead.
They're still on their break, right? The musicians.
Doing this. We all can still go inside.
Escape the sun.
Yay.
Square. All with 8 different languages in which peace, or may peace be in, be on earth, in our hearts, is written in 7 languages. So to read them in different languages, first one will be Calvin will read in English.
We will ask the person to actually point to their language. English. May peace prevail on earth. Ukraine.
Next is Ukraine. Marina Volsiak is here.
Yay, Marina.
Ukraine. Can you point to Ukraine?
Хай буде мир людству у всьому світі.
Thank you. Marina is very active with the Ukrainian American group, fighting for the freedom of the life. And we thank you. In Arabic, Esmat Mahmoud will do that.
This is Arabic, and it says, As-salam lil-alam ajma. That's what it says. I have actually prepared a prayer in Arabic, but
Go ahead.
do you want to listen to it?
Yes, it's short.
Okay. I would just say it has to do with peace. And I'm going to say it in Arabic and quickly in English as well. اللهم ثبت أقدامنا وامنحنا المعرفة المطلوبة لكي نجعل السلام هو قائدنا في هذه الحياة. بارك خطواتنا ومحاولتنا المستمرة لتحقيق السلام والمسالمة في أسرتنا الصغيرة والمجتمع حولنا وفي بلادنا والعالم بأجمع. Oh Allah, guide our steps and all our attempts to make peace prevail in this world. Grant us courage to make needed changes in our plans and adjust our path in order to successfully reach our goals. Peace.
think that's it right there. Yahi Shalom Al Haaretz.
Thank you. In Hindi, by Rajan Ghayal.
Here. Vishwa mein shanti rahe. And always, for us, it's 24/7 peace. So we always end any prayer with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, meaning Om peace, peace, peace.
Yeah, we also chant another one, which we talk every time. It's called Samasta Lokha Sukhino Bhavantu. It means that the worlds and beyond should live in peace. And in Spanish, by Raul Bata, who is himself
Photographing, I don't know how he's going to do that.
Que la paz prevalente.
Point to it.
Yeah.
Point.
Lo siento.
Hmm.
Que la paz prevalenta en la tierra. If peace prevail on earth.
Thank
I
you.
think we have someone who grew up speaking Spanish. Any other wise words to add to that? No, está bien? Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else able to speak Russian? If not, we'll have- Thank you. Yeah, any other language anyone can come up with? Want to say?
Well, in India, we have 22 languages.
Well, that's why I don't want to go there. We have Hindi represented.
15% battery.
That's not a problem.
Reach out to the sky then. So we
Very
wanted
good.
to end in unison with everyone saying, may peace prevail in our hearts.
May peace prevail in our hearts. Thank you. I think we now have a speaker who would put this all together. I suppose George Anthony. We're very pleased to have him, and we take some minutes or so. Well, thank you for your gracious invite. My name is George Anthony. I'm a United Nations representative for an organization called Pathways to Peace. We're one of the largest peace-building organizations at the United Nations. And our efforts and our work is about building a culture of peace. It started by a dear friend of mine, Ava Madison, who was a United States diplomat, primarily in Finland. Back in the 1960s, she used to give the Russians fits because she would dive into the Baltic Sea, pull up the pollution, and say, what are you doing to the earth? And they would call the president at that time, I believe it was Kennedy, and say, get her home, because but this was Ava. She was a brilliant, fearless woman. She came back to the United States, represented the U.S. at the United Nations, and she started the International Day of Peace, which yesterday was a student observance, which I attended, I think the 20th time. The 21st is going to be the official observance of the International Day of Peace, and Avon was a big pioneer to that day. So it's a beautiful moment for me to come here and share this moment with you. The Peace Pole, this is actually a dear friend of mine, Representative Maldau. She was part of this Peace Pole at the very beginning with the World Queer Society. So I can't wait to send Deborah a picture. She's now in Mexico to tell her that we are still, Peace Poles are still growing throughout the world, reminding people of its message, of its symbol. Think about it, just a week, 2 weeks ago, this was empty space. Just beautiful bushes in a beautiful area, beautiful temple. But today, this pole is a symbol to remind you simply that we are to carry that message of peace forward into this community of ours. Not just our community, but our nation and our country. A community and a nation in need of healing. And we know this when we wake up each day. We wake up each day wanting to give the world the best. That's what we are. This is what we do. We try to give the world the best of who we are and what we're about. But it doesn't always work that way, because the world is surrounded by thousands upon thousands of people who have their own worldview, the way they were raised to see the world, the way they were raised to hear the world. And for us, it's about trying to find a commonality, because our commonalities are about building peace, building a world based on hope, potential, and a place where our children can grow up, and they can grow up with the possibilities of creating a better world than we came into. But that's not always the case. We know that. So when we see the Peace Pole, we're constantly reminded about what peace means to us. So yes, meditation came up today.
we need to meditate peace, because of course peace must first exist within us in order to sort of then go out and educate. And education and educating others about peace is not the easiest thing in the world, because people already are planted in what they feel, what peace means to them, and their view, their worldview of how I was raised to see the world. So our job is to create spaces, safe spaces where we can talk to each other and create dialogue, where we can talk about our differences, but we can talk about our commonalities, and we can talk about our hope. Listening without always judging, which is very difficult, because many of us are very poor listeners, including myself. My wife will tell you that. I'm not a very good listener. But when we listen, we can learn to listen to understand. We don't always have to agree. That's one of the things we do, and I do in my work as a peace builder, is that we don't always have to agree. Simply try to understand why you feel the way you do, and why I feel the way I feel. And maybe in that, we can find a place. So listening and understanding, so that's education. But then the harder part comes when we need to advocate peace. Because that's where the difference comes in. That's where you want to create sustainable communities, whether it's in our own families, which is probably the hardest. You know, families came up a lot today. And I remember I was thinking about a good friend of mine. She had a son outside the door. It was friends are always welcome. Family, please make an appointment. But we know, and every family has a story. We talk about that. And for us, it's always about creating a story, a new story based upon the stories that are in our families. But people always say, well, can we all just get along? Yeah, we would like to, but that's easier said than done. Can we all just get along? Because that requires a skill. And the skill is, how do we get around our differences and our opinions of one another that's so entrenched in our being? So I'm going to try something with you. This is a little exercise about when we go out into the world as peace builders. How do we handle some of the situations that arise in our own lives, which require peace building? So I'll give an example. 3 categories: peacemaker, peacekeeper, peacebreaker. All right, a peacemaker is someone like Gandhi, Guru Nanak, Mother Teresa, someone who just embodies the concepts of peace. If I see conflict, I'm going to go this way rather than that way. All right, but someone who creates a safe space of peace, a peacemaker. Then there's a peacekeeper, someone who says, all right, here's a situation. We may not always agree or see eye to eye, but I'm going to see if I can create a space where we can get along and maybe learn from this. Peacekeeper. And the third is a peacebreaker. It's kind of like where I come from in Brooklyn. I don't know. You're going to get it from me. You're going to get it early. You're going to get it good. And then we'll try to clean this up afterwards. All right. Now, all of us can be all 3 in a given day. It's a gray area. Some days, some moments I'm a peacemaker. Some days I'm a peacekeeper. Some moments I'm a peacebreaker. I do wear my emotions on my sleeve. But for the most part, how do you see yourself? How many would say yes, a peacemaker? How many would say peacemaker? All right. How many would say peacekeeper? I would kind of be more peacekeeper. How many say peacebreaker? Did you get it? Unfiltered, that's who I am. All right. So I want some of you just to reach over and grab the wrist of your neighbor next to you if you can. Somebody grab a wrist if you want. Grab a wrist. Grab it. Just one person grab one person's wrist. All right. Great. Okay, I'm going to count to 3. Got a good grip? Count to 3. When I count to 3, I want you to get out of grip any way you can. All right? Any way you can. But when I say stop, let go. I don't want anybody to get hurt here. No litigation. So I count to 3, get out of grip any way you can. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Get out of grip any way you can. Let go. All right. So let me ask you a question. Anybody have to struggle even just a tiny bit, a little bit, teeny wee bit? Anybody have to struggle to get out? No, good. That's what I love. Peace building. Let me ask you another question. When I said to you, I want you to get out of grip any way you can. Does anyone think to ask the person if they can let go of my wrist?
You're from Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. Right?
I'm from Queens.
And Queens. There we go. But I want us to know that how we model our peace behavior, peace building, is important when we go into the world, because people are going to test us. People will always test us. It's the world. And also have the position to react to people. We talked about emotions. I heard some powerfully profound, compelling speeches today that talked about emotions. And know that when we have a negative emotion, when people impact us in a negative way, It's going to stop us from thinking rationally and give that moment the best person we can be. Because our emotions, if they're negative, are going to block positive, rational thinking. So if we're going to model peace building in our own lives, in our own communities, then know that if I am invested in a negative way, I can't be my best self to come to the best ending. So what I want you to do is when we leave this place, remember, this is a message. It's a symbol. But what it means is all of us are an instrument of peace, an instrument of his peace, the instrument of the peace of the Creator. That instrument is in one of us. We carry that back into our families, we carry that back into our communities, and especially into a nation divided by rhetoric every day and in need of healing. Whether it's here, whether it's in India, whether it's in Europe, it's up to us, each one of us, individually, but more important as a community, because we know we cannot do this alone. God bless.
I'll stand here, okay. So I was just thinking how I live in sound and color as a person, like that's my language, and also feeling the nature and all that stuff, and Great Mother, and I'm so glad there was talking about the indigenous and the 4 directions and everything, and so I just wanted to ask if, especially for the feminine, for the earth, peace, if we can do a pole dance. It's like they stopped the music. They stopped the empowerment of music. They stopped the empowerment of movement, especially with indigenous cultures. They stopped these things. So I'm just going to say, like, can we all go around this pole and just, feel this and move and just in the honor of peace and bringing different kinds of experiences here.
Whatever makes you feel empowered. I also want to thank Kim. She's still here.
She left. I said goodbye to her.
And the meditation gave us that experience of feeling the earth in that moment, which was beautiful.
Right.
And she gave us that. So if anybody wants to continue with you.
Well, I think we're going to play a little bit, do a little bit of a rhythm here. And I mean, I don't know.
Are you talking about just the walk?
Just to walk around with like some music.
Just briefly,
Just move the body briefly.
You have them. You have the beat.
Okay.
Anne is here to. All right.
Oh, that's cool. There we go.
Do you need a tambourine?
I was really moved by what everyone said, and this is a brand new song, and Calvin really sparked me to want to play it with the Gandhi sentiment. Okay, let's start. All right, you lead us.
You lead.
Okay. Right?
Don't let this world get you down. Oh, let it turn you round and round. Oh, never found. Oh, let this world get you down. It takes devotion. Did you have lunch? Devotion. Deeper than the ocean, gotta be the change that you want to see. Gotta be the change that you want to see. Gotta be the change. Gotta be the change. Gotta be the change that you want to see. Can't let this life pass you by. Gotta spread your wings and fly. Gotta find your place. No one else here. that you wanna see. Got to be the change that you wanna see. Gotta be the change. Gotta be the change. Gotta be the change that you wanna see. Got to be the change. Got to be the change. Got to be the change.
If anyone would like a memento of today, I have a small pin to remind you and to start conversations with people to be open-minded, open-hearted, and open-handed in seeking the highest from the Human Faith Project. Woo!
Okay, closing remarks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just let you know, my name is Cyber. I am the president of Sarva Dharma Center. So I'll make it very short. We've passed so many speeches right now. So first of all, I want to thank you all for coming. It's been an honor for us. Beautiful weather, beautiful music, beautiful dance. So nothing goes wrong today. Perfect. And that's why we always like to do it here. Well, we always have a good relationship. So the second thing is that it's an honor for us that we have this piece hold here. I think it'll be our duty at this point to take care of it, and more than that, take care of the message that it gives us. And at Sarva Dharma, as you've seen, in the long pillars, there are 5 religious symbols, but also 6, right? But we also have 5 major goals. We have it's Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. 2 fast people who don't know Sanskrit. Satya is truth, Dharma is righteousness, Shanti is peace, which is what we are here for. Prema is love, and Ahimsa is non-violence. So these are the 5 main goals we have for Sarva Dharma. And today we are doing the peace part of it. But the goal of Sarva Dharma has always been service. As the name is, Sarva Dharma is multi-faith service center. So its goal is service. And we had a very good first-hand experience last year, but we continue to go through that we get all kind of requests from everywhere in the world, be it Ukraine, be it Nepal, be it Sri Lanka, South Africa. India was the one we had last year with this COVID, with people dying in thousands every day, which you've seen in the news. And what we realized is that, the way the world works is that when you have a good intention, things happen in its own way, unforeseen. So when we made a request to people to help us out with COVID, on one night, I think we got close to 6,000 messages, starting from all the way from Australia, New Zealand, and West Indies, everywhere people could help us. They all wanted to help. And then we also had requests from India, and Sri Lanka, and Nepal asking for the help. So we were like a perfect bridge there for both. And the kind of help we were getting is unbelievable. We had one gentleman who actually sells planes to airlines, and he has empty planes, which he goes and delivers to the foreign countries. So he says he'll be able to take the material from us because the material itself is not as expensive as the transportation part of it. These are big, heavy machines. So he gave us free service from here, from California. He owns a private airport, which is as big as, I would say, LaGuardia or Newark. There's a private airport, and he takes all the stuff there. So we met people like that, and that's what happens when you are trying to do the right thing. You get all the resources lined up by, the guy upstairs. And that's one experience we found, and we see that every day here. And this place is open to everyone, as much as we hear from other people like yours. I'm very fascinated by what you are saying. I'll come one of those days to your place as well. So you're all welcome here. We always have activities going on.
some service, somebody needs help somewhere, and somebody's prepared to give the help. So welcome. And thanks again for
Thank you.
everybody.